Now for number 5, for this question you've got f of x multiplied by g of x. So what is happening with that is I've got my entire f of x value, and that's being multiplied by my g of x value. Now when I multiply these out, I have to actually distribute or multiply each of my f of x values by each of the g of x components too. So basically I'm going to take my x and I'm going to multiply that by negative x squared. I'm going to multiply it by 5x, and I'm going to multiply it by negative 5. Then my 2x, I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply that times negative x squared. I'm going to multiply that by 5x, and I'm going to multiply that by negative 5. Then my negative 3, I'm going to also take that and I'm going to multiply that times by negative x squared times by 5x times by negative 5. So when I actually do this, I'll get my x squared times by negative x squared. So I'll have negative x. If you remember your properties of exponents, if you multiply two exponents together, you basically add them together. So you get 4. Then when I take x squared plus, or multiplied by plus 5x, I'll have my plus 5x, and I'll do the same thing with my exponents, so I'll get a 3. Then when I go x squared times negative 5, that one's easy, that's just negative 5x squared. So now I've taken care of my x squared in the f of x part. Now what I'll do is I'll move on to the 2x. I'll even do a different color for this one. So I'll have 2x multiplied by x squared. Again, that'll be negative 2x, and then I've got an exponent of 1 on my 2x, and I've got an exponent of 2 on my x squared. So I'll end up with 2x cubed. Then I take my 2x and I multiply that by 5x. So I'll have 2 times 5, which is 10. They're both positive. And then I'll have my exponents of 1 and 1, which will make x squared. Then after I have the x squared, I can go 2x multiplied by negative 5. And what that's going to be is that's going to be negative 10, and then can't forget my x. Now after I've done that portion, I'll go with negative 3 now. So I've done my first 2 steps, now I'm on step 3 of multiplying over. Basically I'll have negative 3 multiplied by negative x squared. So I'll have a positive 3x squared, because my 2 negatives, negative over negative is a positive. Then I'll have negative 3 times 5x squared, which will be negative 15x. And I did just say x squared, excuse me, just times 5x. Excuse me. Now for my last move, I'll have negative 3 multiplied by negative 5. Again, 2 negatives multiplied together make a positive, so I'll have plus 15. Now that I've got everything kind of worked out, I can get to the point where now what I'll do is I'll do like I did before. I'll find out my x to the 4th powers. I've only got 1. Mark that. I'll find all my x cubes. Mark those with a double line. And it looks like I've got 2 of those. Then I'll mark my x squareds with a triple line. I've got 3 of those. Now for x, I'll just mark with 2 lines down. And my constant I can leave blank. So when the dust settles, I'll have a negative x to the 4th. Add up my x components. Plus 5 and negative 2 is negative 3x cubed. Now I'll go to my x squared components. I have negative 5, plus 10, and plus 3. So 13 minus 5, that'll basically give me 8. So I'll have plus 8x. Now I'll go, plus 8x squared, excuse me. Then I'll go on to my x components, which is negative 15, negative 10, so negative 25x, and then plus my 15. So that'll be my f of x multiplied by g of x.